He's heating up.
Are you better than Dwayne Wade? I've seen this argument.
All right, now let's talk about
Like,
this.
are you better than Dwayne Wade?
All right, accolades, he got more accolades than me. Yeah, he got 3 championships. I got 1. Okay? Let's stop right there. No, listen.
Now, I want to hear this.
All right. You telling me if you need a bucket down the stretch, who you want, Dwayne Wade or me? Let me ask y'all this: if you want to win the game down the stretch with who you giving the ball to?
I'm gonna say I'll give you the ball down the stretch, pause. I'll go with that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll give you that. What do you say, Mace?
Who a better
Who a better
3-point shooter?
This is what we gonna do. This is what we gonna do.
You, Paul, you are the better 3-point shooter. My God, let the man talk on his show.
Down the stretch, or game on the line, Paul Pierce. What do you say, Stat? She's
She
from
don't know though. She need to go to YouTube.
No. She's from Florida.
No, it don't matter about Florida. It don't matter about Florida. Go to YouTube.
So who would you pick, Mace?
He don't know. He don't watch. Mother didn't watch basketball. He just went to the Knicks. He went to the Knicks games.
Yes, I did.
Oh, if you went to the Knicks games, how many times did I bust the Knicks ass? Come on now. If you was at them games.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
That's not a great selling point because a lot of people did that. On top of the fact that D Wade's greatest scoring game in his career was against the Knicks. And he had a game winner against the Knicks in the Garden. A lot of people have done that. Heck, even you did that. So, I mean, that's not a great selling point.
Niggas in the control room like, word up, Paul.
Paul, you was getting crazy. You was definitely getting crazy. You was definitely getting crazy. But there was one season that I would have went with Wade, but that was probably before.
That's before LeBron.
KG and them, yeah.
KG, all right, whatever. All right, so now
down the stretch, pause. I'm giving you the ball.
All right, so now put Shaq on my team, put LeBron and Bosh with me. I'm not gonna win one. You don't think?
Ooh.
You
got shit on.
You put me, LeBron, and
Isaiah Thomas.
Me, LeBron, and Bosh. We can't get.
First of all, no. Paul Pierce, LeBron, and Chris Bosh, that does not work. I don't like that big three. That doesn't sound like a championship to me. But let's go back to the point, all right? I'm giving the ball to Dwayne Wade. Anything inside the three-point line in late game situations, all right? He can get a shot off against 6'11 guys, 6'6", 6'4", 6'3", 6'2". He can get a shot off. He can get by you. He can finish at the rim. He can dunk on you, mid-range game. Any of those things come into play late game situations. If it's 3, I'll probably go with Paul Pierce. I mean, unbiased right there. Paul Pierce is definitely a better 3-point shooter than D Wade. It's not a surprise, any of that. But if I'm not mistaken, Shaquille O'Neal was around the same age, maybe 31, 30. I think it was about 32 when he came to Miami. The same age Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce and Ray Allen were when they all linked up in Boston. They were all around that same age. Shaq and D Wade got one. Paul Pierce got one with KG and Ray Allen. I don't know why that's still being brought up. And he's acting like D Wade wasn't consistently in MVP conversations, finishing top 3, finishing top 10, 7, finishing in the top 10 very consistently throughout the course of his career, even before LeBron and Chris Bosh got to South Beach. I've never heard Paul Pierce be considered as 1, 2, or 3 best players in the entire NBA at any point in his career. No point did they say that Paul Pierce might be the best player in the game, might be the best player at his position, might be the best player on a championship contending team. Never said any of those things about Paul Pierce. Now, inside game, I'm going with Dwayne Wade. Outside, I'm going with Paul Pierce. Playmaking, pick and roll, facilitating, and scoring. moving without the ball, scoring without the ball, backdoor cuts, alley-oops, whatever the case may be. Dwayne Wade, open court, Dwayne Wade, athleticism, D Wade, getting to the free throw line. Both of those guys can do that. Clutch, both of those guys can do that. I think so far the only thing that Paul Pierce has over D Wade is the three-point shooting. Let's not talk about defense, on-ball defense, steals, block shots, late game stops, guarding multiple positions, 1 through 3, and depending on who it is playing the 4, trust him to do that as well. There's not a lot of things that you can say, you know what, Paul Pierce got D Wade on that. There's not a clear-cut thing. And then we talk about, post scoring with your back to the basket. If D Wade has the matchup, he's taking him to the block. I've seen D Wade post up dudes that was 6'8", 9, 6'10", around that range and still get a bucket. There's a lot of players in the league around the time Paul Pierce was in the league where you would say, I would take that guy over Paul Pierce. And you look from about 2003 all the way to 2013, there was maybe throughout that whole time where you say, you know what, I would take maybe 4 or 5 guys ahead of D Wade, but after that, nah, D Wade's that guy. Again, might be a biased opinion. You see the jersey that I got on. You see that we're talking about Paul Pierce. I don't like Boston, but taking all of that out of it, I'm still going with Dwayne Wade. And we haven't even talked about accolades. We haven't talked about the fact that Dwayne Wade is one of the greatest shot blockers in NBA history for his position. We're not going to talk about, the defensive, teams, the all-star teams and, first team all-NBA, second team, third team. We're not going to talk about any of those things. We haven't brought those up. Finals MVP, one of the greatest finals performances in NBA history. Not just winning and, having the most points on your team. I'm talking about winning and having one of the greatest performances over a 6-game stretch that we had ever seen up until that point, and becoming or setting in place that you would ultimately be labeled one of the 3 best shooting guards in NBA history. Paul Pierce has never done anything to that magnitude. And then on top of that, Paul Pierce had never elevated the other players on his team, even when he didn't have KG and Ray Allen. Never once did he elevate anybody to that level. Dwayne Wade consistently kept Miami in the picture of the playoffs. 4th seed, 5th seed. Even after LeBron leaving in 2016, D Wade got them to the 3rd seed in the playoffs and got them to the 2nd round. Paul Pierce was not doing anything like that. Now, he did have some years before KG and Ray Allen got there where they were in the playoffs, semifinals, and possibly, having deep runs in the playoffs. But to where you say Paul Pierce was the best player in the league, no, that was not the case. Now, there's probably going to be a lot of people in the comments with a lot of opinions about this. I'd love to hear what y'all think. Am I being biased or am I telling the truth? Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. That's one more for the good guys. Heat Nation, we up. Easy.